Well, hello, welcome again to a reading of Homer's Odyssey, Book 3, and I've got up to line 79. So this is the speech now of Telemachos to Nestor. And so I won't read out the Greek, I'm just going to translate it as we go. So, O Nestor ne leadiet, so O Nestor ne leiade, this is a patronymic here, the son of Neleus. Great glory, great kudos, great glory of the Achaeans. So, a polite way to begin, speaking to King Nestor. This is from ero, or that verb aero or ero. This is second person uncontracted, middle. So you ask, hopothin, from whence amen for esmen we are. Ego de toi catalexo, and I. Now, we're getting a ket plus a subjunctive here from catalego. Get our word catalogue, of course, from this. So I will relate it to toi for soy for you, so I would relate it to you. Now, this is simply a way of being polite, to put it into the subjunctive. In other words, if I may, I would relate it to you. A let Luthermen, this is from Urkema, it's the perfect, so we have come from Ithaca, hupa ne iu. Now this means under a Mount Neon is the name of the mountain. That's a slightly obscure word here. So we have come from Ithaca, which is at the foot of Mount Neon. Prexes de hede idea. This is a private business. Eudemios, not a public one. Hein, which, agreeing with the praxis, which is a feminine noun, which I am speaking to you about. So this business I'm speaking to you about is a private, not a public matter. Patros emukleos euro meterchomai. So meterchomai, I am coming after, so I'm in search of kleos, a report, or I search after a wide report, perhaps widespread report, of my father. If, so ein for ean here, if, the pu is that indefinite, hence the accent here, perchance. So if perchance, accuso, subjunctive, I might hear something. And then in apposition to Patros, he tells him who his father is. Glorious Odysseus, Talasiphronos, well, variously translated, perhaps with steadfast mind. Hon, whom, Poti, Farsi, whom they say once, along with you, fighting along with you, this is a participle from Manamai. So whom they say once fighting along with you, ex alapaxi. The ex makes it very strong, the utterly, and the alapaxi is the infinitive here, to sack. So whom they say utterly sacked the city of the Trojans fighting along with you. Alus mengapantas, and for all the other men, hossoi, as many as polemizdom were fighting with the Trojans. So pusomith. This is so we have heard about all the others, as many as were fighting with the Trojans. This is here from the verb puthomai. The root of this verb, interestingly, is used to form the future tense of pun thanamai. In fact, they come from the same root. The root of pun thanamai, to take out the the nu from punthanamai, and the an, you get the root puth, which is the same root as this one. This is just slightly lengthened, puthamai, but forms another verb. So we have heard, we have perceived about all the others, as many as were fighting a war with the Trojans. Heiki, where each one apoleta from apoluni, literally perished a woeful destruction. So we would say died a woeful death. Lugros, baneful or woeful, quite a common adjective in Homer. But now we've got a men, and this is the corresponding de here. So we've heard about all the others, but Kenu for Ekenu, of that man, the Chronion, the son of Kronos, Thake for Ethake, literally has made or has placed his olethron, his destruction, understand to be aputhia, something which is which is imperceptible. So it's alpha privative, that's that puth root, the same as we had up in the verb. This is a third declension adjective in ace, and then it's uncontracted, so you get e plus the accusative ending a, and it doesn't contract here. So, but moreover, the death of that man, the son of Zeus, has made imperceptible. So we can't find out anything about it. Move that up a bit there. Ugatis dunatai, for so nobody, dunatai is able. Ep emen is the strong aorist infinitive. It's from, of course, Lego, from apon, and this, instead of having a pain, which would be the normal aorist infinitive, we get this emen infinitive form, which is an alternative for the infinitive, and it's a strong aorist infinitive. For no one is able to speak plainly, it's an adverb, hopothin, where olalen he has perished, perfect from olumi. So there's the root of the olumi here, and this is a reduplication. So no one is able to speak clearly where he has perished. Eighth, hoge ep eperudeme. Now we get ate and atet. So whether he get, don't forget the particles, whether he in fact, dame is aorist passive without augment from damnami. So whether literally he was tamed on the mainland by men who were hostile, by enemy men, from dus menes, third declension. Now, and this is the dative plural here. So whether he was tamed, that is, whether he was killed on the mainland by men who were hostile, so by hostile men, and or whether, even almost there, for Amphitrites. Now, Amphitrite is one of these goddesses of the sea, and in the Odyssey, Amphitrite is often simply a way of representing the sea. So it's whether Amphitrite there's no main verb in this, so we've got to supply it from here. So whether Amphitrite, no, this is a genitive here, isn't it? So whether he was tamed, understood, en palage, this is the dative, in the sea, metakumasin, among the waves of Amphitrite. So whether he was tamed, in fact, on the mainland by men who were hostile, or whether he was tamed, whether he perished even in the sea among the waves of Amphitrite. tunica nun tasakuna hikanamai. So tunica, on account of this, for this reason now, I am come to your knees. Personal adjective here. This is the gonata. It would be the alpha is elided and then the tor is aspirated. So for this reason I am come to your knees if, so A for epsilon iota, if you might wish. En is Spain is from en epo. And it's original en sepo. So en epo, en sepo is the original word, and this is an aorist infinitive here. I see the sigma's coming back in again. So if you might wish to speak of the woeful destruction, and it's the same combination we saw back up here in an earlier line. So if you might speak of the woeful destruction, Kanu, of that man, i.e. of Odysseus. Apu opopas, this is the perfect from horao. So if perchance you have seen ophthalmoisi teoisi for seoisi, with your own eyes. It's a personal adjective. Really it's teos. It's equivalent to sos. So with your own eyes. Or ekouses, you have heard, and it could be a participle here, or it could be an aorist without augment. So either, or having heard the muthon, the word alu of someone else, pladzomenon, so that's genitive here. So it's agreeing with alu. So someone else who was wandering, so some other wanderer. So if perchance you have seen it with your own eyes, or you have heard a word from someone else who was passing by, perhaps who was wandering. Perigamin idzuron tekimete. Now peri with this accent, when you see this, it's adverbial, sometimes short for perissos, excessively, which is probably what it is here. So for Meter, understand his mother, bore min auton, min for out on him, very much as someone who is sorrow or grief. So as an object of sorrow. So for his mother bore him as an object of grief, an object of sorrow. Medi te me idomenos melisio medi eliairon. So we get medi and medi, and then we're going to get an alla. So neither idomenos, well, it's hard to translate this here. It means showing respect or showing a kindness almost. And the me is enclitic. The ti is enclitic, and it's putting its accent back onto here. So this is the indefinite ti. So showing respect for me in some way. So do not melisio, it's connected with melos, honey. It's sort of do not sweeten it. So do not soften the blow, we might say in English. So do not out of some sort of respect for me or concern for me, suffer the blow, nor eliaron, nor showing pity. So do not either showing pity or showing some respect for me in some way soften the blow. But katelexon, from katalego, it's a verb we had earlier there, relate to me Hopos ein tersas opopes. This is from Antao. So it's literally so how you have met with the sight. This is a noun. It's formed from the same root we had up here, from that perfect root of horao, and this is the abstract noun apope. So, but relate to me how you met with the sight, understand, of his death. Lissamai, and then very strong enjambment here, I beseech you. And then, as often happens in these beseeching stories, you now say, look, if my father ever did anything good to you, then do as I ask you. And that's what we get here. It's that very common trope we get in Homer and elsewhere in Greek. So I beseech you. So if ever my father, noble Odysseus, poter ever, now again we get cascading accents here. The t is enclitic, puts its accent back on here, puts its accent back on here, puts its accent back on here. So this is the indefinite t. So if ever my father, noble Odysseus, now the main verb is here, exetelese, completed or fulfilled. Now the toi here probably is for soy, for you, ti in any way. So whenever he brought anything to completion for you in any way, a epos a etiergon, hypostas. Hypostas from hypistemi, to undertake, having undertaken either a word or some deed. So if ever my father, having undertaken some word or deed, brought it to completion in some way for you, ever, all these lovely little particles here, in the demo, in the land of the Trojans. There's always discussion about this demos. In Homer, most of the time it means land, especially in the Iliad. In the Odyssey, generally is land as well, but there are instances where it always seems to me slightly ambiguous that it could mean people as well. But here it's in the land of the Trojans. Hothi paskati permati Achaioi, where the Achaeans, where you Achaeans suffered permata, griefs or pains, neuter plural from perma. Now, Menesai, this is an imperative here, make mention or recall for me these things, and enispes, this is from this en epo again, speak to me, nemertes, the truth. Again, this is from ne, which is that negative, and this rest of the root here is connected with hamatano, to miss the mark. So relate to me things that don't miss the mark, that is, things that are true. Again, moi is enclitic, which is why we get the accent here. So tell to me, speak to me truly. This is neuter, so it'll be an adverb here. So speak to me truly. Well, Nestor then replies to him. So hippota, now we get this usual epithet of Nestor we've seen before, so I won't go through it again. So Gorenian Nestor, hypota, that's a nominative, the horseman, then replied to him. O Phile, O dear one, since you have called me to mind, or so you have called, you have brought to my mind, is duos, this is a genitive, of sorrow, since you have reminded since you have reminded me of the sorrow, which anetlemen, this is Anna and telemen, telao, to endure, So which we endured in that land, and it's definitely land here, we, the sons of the Achaeans, Askatoi Menos. This is alpha privative, and the skut is connected with echo, so unrestrained in our strength. So, oh dear boy, since you have reminded me of the grief which we, the sons of Achaeans, unrestrained in might, endured in that land. Now we get amen, and presumably there's an a on the next page. So either as many things as Pladzomenoi wandering, kata laida. This is a word meaning booty. So wandering about looking for booty with our ships upon the Aeredea Ponton, upon the misty sea. Hoppe, wherever Achilles, Arxaean, optative, wherever Achilles might lead. So if you're reminding us, since you brought all this to mind, so either as many things as wandering over the misty sea with our ships in search of booty, wherever Achilles might lead. And there's the A-det here. So we had amen, and I was waiting for the A-det, which is here. A-de hossa, or as many things as, perhaps as many battles as, now this is Manama again, we fought, Peri, around the great city of Lord Priam. And the Kai here is also. So, or as many things also as we fought over around the great city of Lord Priam, enthedepeta kat ekathen hosoi aristoi. And there then, as many as who were the best men, katektathen, were slain. Now this is it looks like a singular, this is a plural. It's one of those little tricks in Homer. The then often stands for thesan, and so it's an aorist passive here from katakteno, to kill, and this is the aorist passive, and it's plural. So there then, the men, as many as who were the best, were slain. And that's the next section of book 3.